Hello everyone, I'm Rue Fury. I'm a Kassadin enthusiast, challenger player the last 4 years, and a professional player this year and 2 years ago. I love Kassadin. I play him on stage, play him in scrims, I play him in solo queue, and I'm here to teach you all the knowledge I've gathered over the couple of years and try and give you some information to make you play Kassadin better. I've got a Kassadin vs Silas VOD for you. So firstly, I went this rune page here. I went Conqueror, Presence Mind, Tenacity, Group de Gras, and then I went a Domination secondary tree, and I went Ultimate Hunter and Taste of Blood with double adaptive, and then a health scaling rune. So the reason why I went these runes here, as we'll play out the video, the reason why I went the runes here is Silas is a melee character who does a lot of skirmishing, and they usually start E, especially into a melee matchup, so I definitely think you can get a lot of autos onto Silas as he misses the E here. What you kind of want to do, I did start Q to tank his E and then follow up with autos to try and out-trade him, but in the early phase of laning, as most people will know in Kassadin, you're not playing too aggressive, as here I take a really aggressive trade, get 3 autos onto him. I actually went so aggressive on the auto attacks because he was tanking the 3 caster minions, and I don't mind trading like that. He gets level 2 first. We're definitely going to put a point into W. Now we can fight a lot better here. Trades are looking pretty good. We did take TP into this matchup, and Silas did as well. He also took Electrocute, which is something you don't normally see on Silas. Sometimes they go Electrocute, sometimes they go Conqueror. Well, what you kind of want to do in this matchup is you just want to play very slow, let him slow push into you, and when he goes for those aggressive E trades, that's when you want to trade back. So we got a crash on 3 coming in. Now, something to think about when you're playing Kassadin is to not trade your health for too much gold. So what I mean by that is when a minion is very low and you go up towards it, you don't want to lose too much HP in the trade of the minion. Otherwise, it's like quite bad. Here he takes a tower shot from a greedy trade, and then he's just completely greeted here. And we get the solo bolo on the Silas. I think it was a pretty big blunder from his side to try to aggro, try to play really aggressive under the tower. Took a tower shot, and then, you know, we tanked the second part of the E and he took another tower shot. Instead of letting him go with that, we used our Conqueror and ran him down. I think it was a good decision. Here the Gragas is pretty far into the enemy jungle. There's nothing we can do about it. We got our 900 gold. The items you want to build this game is Malignance. So Malignance is the item that reduces your ultimate haste by 20, and it also provides a little pool on the ground after you ult on someone that does a little bit of damage, as well as removing their magic resist, which is quite important. So now that we've taken the Conqueror Domination tree and we are going for a straight up Malignance, there's a lot of pressure we can do in skirmishes around level 6. Here we trade back really well, tank the W with the Q, and then EW trade. Something to note as Kassadin vs Silas is Silas does get to dictate the wave state in the early game. Most matchups, to be honest, Kassadin doesn't get to dictate where the wave is going to end up. Something important to note is when you're last hitting the caster minions, if you don't have a amp tome, your auto will not do a good trade. And here we go for another trade, really aggressive trade from my side. Uses full combo and we get Conqueror stacked. Really good trade. I think when you're playing the Kassadin side, don't be afraid to fight him head on when he uses all of his abilities, unless he has Ignite. Here we get a nice 1-for-1. We still have the Conqueror stacked, So we can force Jax to back off, use his flash, that's nice. I've seen other people opt in for first strike against this matchup, or even electrocute. I think electrocute burst isn't enough for Sylas sustain. Sylas's strength is taking these short matchups, as we just run into the jungle and steal this Jax's camps. We know he didn't have flash, and we knew he was quite low, so definitely really good. You might think this trade here is quite brutal for me, but I do have the TP advantage. So all the HP and all the mana that I just got taken down is actually going to be pretty much absolutely okay because I'm able to TP back here. Like I said before, we're going for Malignants first, and we now have a Boots and a Tear. I love buying Tear even if I'm not going Seraphs, just because of the nature of Kass and Ultimate. Do more damage the more maximum mana you have. You can play really aggressive here. We have the whole team fighting with us. We still got full Conqueror stack and Pantheon Ultimate behind us. It should be an easy skirmish here. Usually you want to try and take the last hits. Unfortunately the W didn't last as long, so we didn't get the W mana back. Wave state mid's absolutely fine to do this. Nice. That's huge. Alright, we're in a pretty good position. We've helped out our top. We've fight around the jungle, around the grubs. Puts everyone in a pretty good spot. Something to note, when you're playing Kassadin, a lot of this type of skirmishing can be good, as long as it's slow and you play around your E and your ult. You won't always be able to get a lot of kills in the early game as Kassadin, but if you do, it definitely ramps up your scaling potential. As Sylas, we have an immense gold advantage over this guy, and he's trading like there isn't a huge difference between us in the damage department. Forcing him to back's always good. Looks like he cancels the back. Now, when you're playing Kassadin, you need to conserve your mana. We have Lost Chapter and Tear, so we're absolutely fine. You gotta be careful just spamming ult on the wave if you're just about to run out of mana. You always gotta wait for your ults to reset if you're getting to low mana. Here the Sylas backs, we'll take a plate, we saw Jax topside, we're gonna back off. No reason greeting. Good greed for an extra plate, but then we'll have to fight off Jax, and you see he was just behind the turret. Pretty close to our first item. Big power spike for us. As you can see, the Conqueror and the Presence of Mind has already done absolute work. So the Taste of Blood, 278 health healed, and 1,118 mana restored. I think Presence of Mind is one of the best runes you can get in Kassadin. Even if you're going some sort of defensive build or some sort of gold generating build, like First Strike Resolve. If it was a tough matchup and you want to get First Strike Gold, I think it might just be better to go First Strike Presence of Mind. Or you can even go First Strike, not First Strike, Fleet Footwork, and then go Presence of Mind. I think Presence of Mind is a very must rune. It helps you a lot when you're fighting and you get that kill, and it gives you a lot of mana back to throw another ultimate down. Very important rune. We did start Doran's Ring into this matchup. There's not a whole lot of matchups where you change the start. There used to be a Dark Seal start on Kassadin, but they changed the way Dark Seal works. Jack shows up mid. We're baiting Silence into the Gragas here for a 2v2. Make sure to just space out of their range, play with my ultimate. Fortunately, we lost the 2v2. There's Jack's flash. I'm going to trade flashes. Not the greatest skirmish. Made the space a little bit better. We're still waiting for our item, so we could have avoided that fight entirely and played for a power spike, which now we have, which is huge for us. What do you do as soon as you get your first item? You don't immediately want to fight. Your biggest power spike in level is level 11. A lot of people tend to think 16 is your biggest power spike. It is, but it isn't, if that makes sense. It's too late in the game to where you would have everyone would already have immense amount of items, and you would have immense amount of items, where I think at level 11 the game would really be a huge swing. So I think at level 11 you upgrade your ultimate, you do double the damage, you can ult quite often more, and you get the dragons, you get the rifts, and you can kind of just end the game through that. If the game's already gone to 16, then there's a bit of a problem where the enemy has scaling or they won early game really hard. So I think 11 is definitely the time to bounce back, as now we start winning this one-on-one and we can run him down. Make sure to space his second E properly. Not getting too greedy with the ultimates, not just ulting him on the tower. It's better to play it safe. There's the Jax. And we're just going to use the wall to extend our ultimate and get away here. We still have TP up, we can buy pen boots. In terms of boot itemization, I like to change boots a lot. Lucidity boots I never usually get. Pen boots and Merc and Ninja Tabby is a quite often switch between the three. Obviously if the enemy is double AD, then Ninja Tabbies might be your best option. If the ADC is also AD, and if the whole enemy team has a lot of forms of CC and a lot of magic, obviously you go Merc Treads. If the enemy is quite squishy, I think Pen Boots is very good. So from Birch there. Run out of mana with Pantheons here. We get flashed on by Silas. I think that was a little bit greedy from my part. The ulting over to pick up the lantern wasn't really smart. I think you could just walk away with your mana conserved and you probably lived that. But we nearly got that level 11 power spike, which is huge for us. Champions we beat in the side lane is strictly only ADC and Silas. Pantheon is quite a hard opponent to beat in the side. He's got too much burst and he's got his point and click stun. But our goal is to be in the side lane and pick up waves.
Enemy rampage.
So that's what we're going to keep doing. I was planning on making a Kassadin guide, where it's just like a fully edited video where I have practice tool, I have all the runes. So if, like all the combos you can do, all the runes I think would be like useful for most matchups, and then I'll have examples of matchups such as Fleet Fork into like Lucian mid and like pretty much any really tough matchup. And by tough matchup I mean they have manipulation of the wave and they're ranged. Those matchups are usually tough. The matchups that are quite favored for you are like the melees that want to fight, or the sorcerers that have no defense. So I think one of the easiest matchups is probably Vigar. You can jump straight over his cage. He doesn't have an incredible amount of damage. CC is unreliable. So you can definitely go electrocute and run him down a lot. Lux is one of those as well. Just gotta watch out for the poke. But thankfully to your passive and your Q, you can absorb a lot of poke. Your Q absorbs quite a bit of AP. Something I forgot to mention was putting 2 points into Q in the early game when you versus a poke champion instead of E, which is something I didn't go this game. I went Q, W, E, and then max E, and then Q. I think maxing, there's not really a point where you max W over Q. The team is fighting a lot in the top side, not a whole lot we can do. We're not the greatest at just flat out winning in an uneven fight. So we're going to go for the better option, which is what? XP and gold. Level up against my Sylas. I get this turret here, which is huge. Don't underestimate the power of side laning. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your teammates to get this extra gold, but it definitely pays off in the end. Here we're getting collapsed on because we're greedy for an extra wave, but we are Kassadin. And we have a unlimited amount of blinks as long as we have mana. So we're chilling. Any case, we're chilling. Should have Seraphs here. Not fully stacked Seraphs, but that's fine. Still a good item to buy. Gives us that huge shield. Gives us that increased mana once it's upgraded. Looks like we're TPing over to collapse mid. We saw 2 bot. We have numbers advantage. Fura's also here. Fura's tanking, so we're just going to kill the Jax. Jump straight onto the Pantheon. Really good TP from me and Fiora here. Making use of the positioning of the enemy. They overfought a 2v2 and we punished with a double TP. As well as, you know, something to mention is the Senna and the Nyla chasing me down the side lane meant they weren't able to skirmish with the team. And it looks like here I'm going to go and cut off the Nyla because she's greedy for an extra wave. Make sure Senna's not here as well, but Senna was in base, so no one's here at all to help her. And now we just space correctly. Dodge Nyla ults and get the shutdown. We're in a very good position here. This is a very good game to carry. And you might think to yourself, oh, my Kassadin games aren't like this, I don't just get free kills. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's all about being patient and watching. If you overforce things on Kassadin, you kind of just infinitely die. He's a very squishy champion and can be punished quite easily when his abilities are on cooldown. But now that Ultimate Hunter Stacks comes in, my ult cooldown is 2 seconds, which is crazy to think about it, right? A AoE effect blink being on a 2-second cooldown. Blink, not a dash, because it's like flash, can't be interrupted. I always get to my destination without having to travel to the destination. I can just teleport there, you know. Making sure to always prioritize waves of everything else. The team's doing the dragon, yet I still go mid wave and take the cannon wave, and I still go bot wave and take the bot wave. Might be a little bit selfish and still money from the Kai'Sa, but look, ADCs this season are not priority, but a level 16 Kassadin that one-shots everything in his path and can instantly blink away is definitely something to play for. Just below the 10 CS mark, 10 CS per minute mark. Now we're going to pick up a Seekers. I think into these burst characters and these skirmishing characters like the Pantheon, the Sylas, and the Jax. You don't flat out beat them because of their crucial CC abilities. Sylas E, Pantheon W, and Jax E all make it very hard to consistently pump out damage. So you buy Seekers to use it to avoid their forms of CC or to stall out their DPS. You jump on the Pantheon and then you use Zhonya's when he E's or he Q's to avoid a lot of damage. Same with Jax. Jax E's and you use Zhonya's. So we get a nice collapse here. Jax overextend on the side. Like I said before, when they're about to use their CC abilities with Zhonya's. And sets up our Conqueror and our ultimate stacked really well. Looks like the fight's still going on. We're not going to commit. Fighting's still going on. Potentially get a pick on Nyla here. Gotta be careful though, she actually can kill us. And Pantheon was roaming topside. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna flank TP bot lane. I think chasing Nyla is a bit suspicious. She can dodge our W with her shielded ability. There's the Jax, there's the center, we got the exhaust down. Use the terrain to our advantage. Boom, and there you go, we're out of there. Oh, looks like Pantheon's had enough, he's flashed on us. Bait for the Fiora. Thresh is coming, Kass is on the way. Flash the Jax. And we're out of there. There's no way he can chase us in time. We have E slow and we have W to get our mana back. And we've just put our Fiora in a perfect position to just take them out. We are going to stay on 1 HP here. I think I was a bait, trying to bait the Jax to turn around. Stall time for Fiora to come. And then I get the slow and the Q on him. Very nice. Something Kassadin loves is fighting in and out fights. And what do you mean by that? He loves to jump on the enemy, do a portion of damage to them with all of his combo, and then use his blink to escape the fight. And then wait for his whole combo to come up, wait for the enemies to their crucial abilities, let them panic while they're half HP, and then do it again. And like jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. He's not one of the champs that can just, like, they're not Malphite Yasuo where they can just jump in and double ult nuke someone. Or champions that poke, like Xerath, who need a lot of time. He just wants to get in there and get out of there. 2-level lead, about to get a 3-level lead. This game seems like it's over, but the enemy hasn't surrendered, so we do have to plan out our ending macro, which would be to grab the nearest wave possible and push. Most players usually group mid here, I see, when they're playing Kassadin. They got Baron, their Kai'Sa Thresh are mid, their Gragas are top, and they still group mid. I tend to love the side lane a lot more, and that's where I get my leads from. I could be at this skirmish here, but see as the Gragas is not there and the Fiora is not there, it would be a outnumbered fight. But here I get a tier 2 turret. And how much is a tier 2 turret, you might say? 675. Only 700 gold in the pocket. Only halfway through my level 16, Nyla has backed. Now that Nyla's back, she's got no TP, we've identified that, and our team is still fighting. We're going to get a little bit of a collapse here. Senna's got no exhaust from before. Get a nice combo into this guy. And Fiora's there to collapse as well. Beautiful, isn't it? You push the side lane, and the enemy fights mid. Maybe one of your teammates dies, maybe all of them die, and then they have to eventually recall to match your side pressure. And then once, if all of them don't recall at the same time, now you have a window to collapse on mid lane. As you can see, Nyla's dodged my W, rendering me nearly useless. Dodge a bit of his whip spells with the Zhonya's and finish him off to get that level 16. Not the greatest fight to take, as he's one of the strongest members of the enemy team, but I definitely knew that we could beat it with the Seraphs and the Zhonya's and his whole team being dead. Another purchase we're looking at is Medjai's was available, but I definitely have a little bit of a hate towards Medjai's. I think it's a trap card item. Even if you're ahead a lot and there's not, you have like Zhonya's and Seraphs to protect yourself, I definitely think it's a dangerous item to build. And you might think, why is it dangerous? If you have a lot of survivability, it stacks more AP. I think the item, I wouldn't say it's cursed, I would say it provides motivation to the enemy to have another reason to kill you outside of your bounty and maybe your position in the game because you're strong, right? I myself look at an enemy player who has Medjai's and I'm like, this guy, I want to get rid of his Medjai Soul Stealer. Like, that's my goal. I need to kill him, but getting rid of his Medjai Soul Stealer will put him immensely behind, quote unquote. Even though it's not fully untrue, we do reduce a lot of his AP damage and maybe his movement speed by killing him, taking the Medjai Soul Stealer stacks down. But it's not a realer goal as one might think. But it still gives the enemy team that motivation to save flashes, save Zhonya's, and save abilities to kill you. I say this as we've just completely run them down and aced them. See, as we hit that level 16, the game was already over and we're already fed. And it was around that level 12 to 13 mark when we really pushed the lead. But yeah, that's Sylas versus Kassadin. A lot of skirmishing early. Take Conqueror, fight him, get to that level 6, punish him as much as you can. I'm Rufuri, thank you.